Today, we're talking about the recession and the potential impact on us as wedding photographers. Here's a theme song. Oh no. It's the recession. What? Is the camera angle too far away? You don't like my cat's litter box / home? Or the terrarium fishbowl? Okay. Is this better? Are you happier now? Turn the LED on behind me to let you know that you are, in fact, my sunshine. Even if we are headed into a little bit of a recession, or maybe we've already been there for 6 months. Who knows? So the market is obviously a bit of a mess right now. That's not news to you. Is it time to buy crypto? We're not here to talk about that. But I did lose out on about $2.5 million of Dogecoin when I purchased it in 2017. And that's a real fact, but no regrets. So we're looking at uncertain time yet once again. And what do? Do you panic and give up? No. You figure out how to do the best you can with the given things that you're given in the world. Question mark? That's kind of what we do as wedding photographers, I think. You go into the wedding photography day, you don't really know what you're going to get yourself into. And you troubleshoot and you work along and you get by the best you can, smile at some people, take some nice photos, make some nice memories, and move on. That's life. That's the motto. Take that, Drake. It is not time to YOLO. In fact, I might say the opposite. So we don't know how long this is going to be. Is it going to be 12 months? Is it going to be 18 months? Has the recession already been going on for 6 months? None of these really matter. I don't want this to be a straight up fear-mongering video. I want this to have some positive things that you can do to improve your life over the next couple of months and to relieve a little bit of the stress from you and your family. That's my whole, I don't know why I didn't put this on me today. Been spending too much time on TikTok. I also feel like my pacing is very reminiscent of camera conspiracies today, though I'm not as funny. If you watch the end of this video, I'm hoping that I bring you enough positive things that you can apply to your business, and not only things that you can apply to your business in this time of a recession or a potential recession or whatever it might be, but things that are just smart to apply anytime. There's just maybe more of a structured time crunch to the potential uncertainty of what might be happening. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and a little bit about the big things that you should know about. Question mark again. If you are a member, you have access to a behind the scenes wedding day video that went up a couple of days ago. And you can watch that, you can enjoy that, and you can learn a little bit more about wedding photography if you want and see a day. I would say it's a pretty traditional day, or maybe a traditional day for the earlier part in my career where it was a banquet style wedding, and there was some dry ice, and there was this one dog, but only one dog the entire day. So a bit of a letdown in that department, but that's okay. It was still a nice day for the couple. So moving into the reality of the situation, people are going to lose their jobs. Not necessarily you. If you're a self-employed wedding photographer, you can't fire yourself, which is, I guess, maybe a huge benefit. Or maybe if you are sitting in a 9-to-5 style job right now, it might be that time to actually go full-time self-employed, which might seem like the craziest thing ever. But quite honestly, being self-employed is a lot more stable than being employed by somebody that at any moment can just let you go. But it's important to be prepared for a little bit of a rough patch potentially here. And step one. Same step one as always. Step one is cut a hole in the box. Step two, let's put your. So I guess I'm experiencing the beginning of this recession in a number of different ways. So not only my wedding photography business, I will say that I was a wedding photographer in 2008, which was kind of the last major economy shift in this direction. And my business actually increased within that time. That might sound crazy, but we'll talk a little bit more about things I did over the course of this video. And strangely enough, the wedding market seemed a little bit insulated from what was actually happening. And 2008, obviously a very, very significantly terrible time for pretty much all of the world, that economies were collapsing in different countries. And here in Canada, we felt the same. Pretty much whatever happens to the economy in the United States kind of happens up here as well. So we felt a lot of that, maybe to a slightly lesser degree, but my wedding photography business actually gained momentum that year. I was still early on in my career. I was maybe 3 or 4 years in at that point, and it was a strangely okay time for weddings. So maybe if that calms any fears, I hope that it does, because I do believe that to be true. And I hope that it will be true again this time. So this time I'm in a bit of a different spot. At that point, I was working a part-time job serving tables at Outback Steakhouse. And you can watch our full-length documentary of our road trip to the original Outback Steakhouse in Tampa, Florida from Toronto. Don't watch it. It's the stupidest video on the channel. But at that time, I was waiting tables. We definitely saw a decline there. People coming in, spending their money on a somewhat unnecessary expense of an Outback Steakhouse evening, and more people were eating at home. And this time for me, rather than working at Outback Steakhouse, I'm doing deals with Squarespace that seem to be disappearing. I think maybe the one benefit to YouTube is that over the next at least Q3, Q4, you're probably not going to see a lot of this video sponsored by Squarespace, because those deals are just going to slowly start to disappear. So maybe it's time for applause. Fortunately, I've diversified and I have digital products to sell you. Buy my presets. So in the tech space, which I invest a lot in, we're seeing a lot of warning signs there. A lot of people have frozen budgets completely. A lot of people are not hiring. A lot of people are kind of going into the next quarter knowing that if they have not raised a round or whatever they're trying to do in their business, they're pretty much gonna have to survive on the money that they've raised up to this point. Or if they're very, very quick, maybe they can put something together in the next couple of weeks before everything just kind of freezes out. And how does that affect wedding photography business? Well, it doesn't necessarily. But what it does mean is that people are going to be either not hired or potentially losing their jobs. And that overall means that people are going to be willing to work for a little less money. I feel like if you've just put your prices up in this kind of, I'm going to say, inflated time, and you're now demanding this amount of money, you may have to rethink something. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in the rest of the video. Don't just be like, I need to axe my prices by 50%. Don't do that. But there are some things that you can do to continue that positive growth of your business, and don't just discount immediately and panic. So real step one, and what you should be doing now, and what you should always be doing, empathy to the world, to the people that come in your door or come in your digital door, I guess. If somebody's sending you an email, you probably see that if it's a workplace email, you know where they work. You have some information about them. Make them a real person in your mind as fast as possible, and don't just see the dollar signs. Think about what they're experiencing. They're planning a wedding in a time where maybe they're both in perfectly stable careers. Maybe everything is great. Everything is awesome. Maybe they're a little bit nervous to put down a large upfront deposit. Maybe that structure might change a little bit. Or if you do change that and have some leniency on maybe doing multiple upfront payments rather than just one lump sum for your retainer or your deposit, whatever you're calling it, maybe that is going to immediately make a few couples a little bit happier to book with you. Maybe your cancellation policy changes a little bit. I know that's bad to say, because that means that a year from now when they are getting married, if they do decide to cancel and they get 50% of their deposit back or whatever it might be, it's a bit of a bummer for you. But if that's something that you're willing to offer now, it shows that you understand that they're nervous about booking this huge wedding, not knowing if they might have jobs next year. So empathy, deploy empathy. No, I'm not going to talk about Gary Vee. Although I sat near Gary Vee at a Knicks game one time, and he was wearing a shirt that's almost as ridiculous. No, his shirt was more ridiculous than this. Step two, real step two is not to it is to operate with a little bit more urgency than you would normally operate. That means getting your paid ad situation together and really going out there and generating as much business as you can over the next couple of months before things start to get really uncertain for people. If you are able to generate a significant amount of dollars right now and know that you have those contracts coming in over the next 18 months, 24 months, 62 months, how far do people get married? I feel like I'm shooting a wedding next weekend that I booked in 2018. I feel like there were some extenuating circumstances there with the global situation. But usually if you are booking a wedding, you're booking that wedding and that final payment is going to be coming in about a year from now. So you take some money now, and if you can, again, maybe take a little bit less up front, that means maybe you're going to be making more a year from now, and you're kind of banking on that. Or maybe you're doing multiple payments and you've set it up to every 3 months they owe you $1,000. And then once the wedding comes, their final payment's $1,000, and you've secured income over those 12 months leading up to the wedding day. That's a good idea. I should write that one down. So step two is basically make money work hard right now. I would sacrifice. I feel like my entire life is kind of goes in seasons like this where I sacrifice and I work very, very, very hard throughout the summer. And then usually we chill out and we do brand deals that are disappearing over the winter time. So November and into May, I usually kind of section off from weddings and we just get to kind of do the super fun work that you see here on YouTube. And in my experience with those, all of those deals right now are very, very slow to commit to anything. And I'm going to guess it's pretty unlikely that a lot of them are going to follow through with what we have planned. So look forward to a winter of me sitting here with the plants and the cat den here. No, we'll still go do stuff. It's fine. Step 3, make some sort of financial plan. Not a huge financial planner usually, but I think in this time it is important to figure out how much money it is that you need to make every month in order to secure your just basic expenses, and to maybe operate within those and to not go too far above. Spend money if you need to generate more business, but do that in a smart way. But make sure you're operating within the limits that your income allows. And again, if you are using that idea that I came up with to defer and do monthly payments over a period of time rather than 50% now, 50% wedding day, 2 weeks before, whatever you have it scheduled as, that means that you've transitioned this traditionally sink or swim, feast or famine style business where you book 10 weddings in one weekend and then you don't book anything for 8 months, into something that has become a little bit more consistent that you can rely on. So make sure that you have visibility on that and that you're not going to run into 1 month where you're gonna have to sell your camera gear and you're gonna have to buy it back before the wedding season. I used to do that. I used to sell, if we took a bunch of months off or I wasn't working a whole lot, I would keep one camera body, the 35 I'm filming this on, and maybe an 85. And I would have an 85, a 35, and one camera body throughout the entire winter. And that was it. So maybe, I'm not saying do that now, but if you don't have weddings for a bunch of months and you have a bunch of extra gear, maybe it's time. If you have a bunch of film photography equipment that went up 150,000% over the past couple of years, I can't say the word of what happened the past couple of years, then YouTube will flag this and make this a controversial video and give me less ad revenue. But if you are sitting on 27 Leica M6s right now, maybe it's time to sell them. I'm talking to you, guy that has 27 Leica M6s in the basement. You're crazy, but I respect you. So step 3, know how much money it takes to live your life and operate within that strictly for the next little bit. Pay off that bad debt and invest in Dogecoin. Don't do that. And last point is to diversify. I feel like this is what saved a lot of us over the past couple of years, again, that I can't say the name of. And one of the things that I did, and one of the things that you can do, so if you're a member, you have multiple different avenues to explore this. So we have the ongoing social media course, which means that you're reaching out to people and businesses and places, and you're setting a monthly contract with them, and you go out and you deliver work and you make them, typically it's photos, but you could also bring it to reels. You could also manage all their social media. You could do that. Or maybe what's more important to us as wedding photographers, the micro weddings course and the elopements course that are over on the members website. They talk about basically doing smaller weddings, and the smaller weddings that we've seen over the past couple of years, now people have become comfortable with them. Maybe people have started to enjoy them. I'm someone that enjoys them. I like to go to weddings for 4 hours, take the nice pictures of the family, the friends, not sit there for an entire dinner, to take 5 photos of the first dance and then leave. But definitely begin to diversify your photography, your wedding photography business. If you do video, I think it would be time to start maybe focusing a little bit more on that as well, and to seeing what contracts are available within your local area for that. And that usually means just getting out there and seeing who needs work done and creating some sample work and shopping that around, or just doing for fun projects and seeing kind of what comes of that. I know that sounds like a very, let's just do this fun documentary and see what happens. But when you do something that's locally focused and you really put a good eye on your local area, people do notice, and you will pick up some government contracts. And that's what it's all about over the next, that's a step that's not on my thing. Get those government contracts, because they're stable usually, unless your entire country folds and you don't exist anymore. I haven't experienced that, so I can't speak to any of that. But that's all for today. Let me know what you're thinking about in the comments below, and I will respond with my thoughts, or other people can respond with their thoughts. And that's how this is going to work. Thanks for being here. See you again next time. That behind the scenes wedding day is up on the members website. If you're a member, it's in the weekly content. There's like 150, 200 other things in that folder. You can go look at it if you want. Introvert's Guide to Negotiation. I think that's a good one. Maybe for this time, if you are an introvert and you feel weird asking people for money, it's kind of my guide to how to do that. And maybe you should ask more people for money right now, so that you can kind of chill out over the next little bit and not be too worried about what's going to happen. That's all from here today. Goodbye. Next time. See you.